Ooh, it's busy. It's so busy. Oh my days. It's so busy. Hello. How did you? I'm just driving on home and I just sometimes just want to talk. I would roll the windows down except that it's kind of too loud for the microphone, so I am throwing air conditioner on. I know it's not even that hot out there, but I'm throwing it on regardless. I don't care. I'm heading home from work and just gonna talk while I drive. I had a stream earlier about Donald Trump, about how he basically worked at McDonald's, and I thought it was a really nice thing that he did. I think looking at people's faces whenever they received McDonald's from him is just priceless. And it's pretty cool, you know. If you like the man, then it's really cool. But if you don't, then I guess you'd rather have one of the actual workers give you your food, you know. But I think it'd be cool to get McDonald's from Donald Trump. That'd be cool. I'd take that. I'd take a Big Mac from him. 20-piece nuggets. I mean, it's pretty cool though too, because he was like not charging anybody either. So that's pretty cool too. Today was a slow day. Uh, it was slow, but it was also still more work than usual. My work it varies from day to day. I never really know what I'm gonna do, and I never know how much work there is really gonna be. But it's easy work to say the least. It's easy work. You can't argue with easy work, you know. I've worked jobs where you have to work really hard, like really, really hard to make a buck. So this is a good change. It really is. Good change of pace. I'll take it. You know what I don't enjoy though is traffic on the way home. Whenever it's time to get off of work, I tell you, man, everybody is like cutthroat. They're like, get out of my way. I'm getting to the house and I'll run you over basically. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I mean, I've done it where I drive fast on the way home, but I don't cut people off. You know, I always try to give myself a lot of space, and I like to sometimes pretend like pretend like I'm like a racer. You know, because there's no chance in my lifetime that I'll ever be a professional racer. So the closest I'll ever get is uh, getting in and out of lanes and beating all the traffic. That's as close as I'll get to being a professional racer. But lately, it seemed like traffic has been really, really, really busy. and you just can't cut in and out of lanes. It just seems like it's just so busy. So I just stay in the lane that I got to go in, and I don't leave it. And I mean, it's whatever. It's kind of fun when you can cut lanes and get in and out and pass people up, But anymore, it's just pointless. It's because I'm getting old. Maybe I'm getting old and I just don't really care. I'm not really that old, but I'm old enough to realize that it's just not worth the trouble. So I just cruise on through. I don't really care for the most part. Oh boy, let's see how this goes. All right, we're going to do it. Cool, that worked out. Anywho, I found this really cool. Like the work that I do, we find lots of cool things. Today, if you are you can see up close, I think it'd be cool. I mean, a lot of the pages are bent, and it came from a house that somebody probably smoked, or it's just really old. But it was in the trash can, so I pulled it out, and it was pretty decent condition for what it is. And the sad part about it is that some homeless person probably stole it. Honestly, some homeless person probably stole it and threw it in the trash because it had no value to them. But it has value to me. I mean, I could use it, you know. Uh, but one thing that I've always wanted to talk on the topic of homelessness, and it's something that and maybe I did put a video out, but I don't know if I did. But I've always wanted to talk about the topic of homelessness. The major problems that I've noticed in the job that I work, I see a lot of homelessness. I see a lot of people that at least I think they're homeless because they're walking the streets, they're laying on the benches, they've got all their belongings like spread out across the benches. I assume that they're homeless. But the thing that I've noticed with the homeless is, oh no, sorry, there's a branch. Anyways, the thing that I've noticed with the homeless is they, I don't remember what I was going to say. Sorry, that branch kind of threw me off topic. So I'm trying to remember what I was going to say now. But I work very closely in a sense with the homeless. I clean up after them. I throw the garbage away for them. I notice that they have camps sometimes, and I have to clean up their camp sometimes. I've also had to clean up where they poop and pee, and I know it's a really weird thing to say, but they have like designated areas. It's just what it is, and I don't really understand the whole spectrum of homelessness. But I would love to solve the problem personally. I don't think a lot of people want to solve it too. I don't think anybody wants to see people on the streets, on the side of the road, laying down, because for the most part, if they're homeless, they're probably a druggie, or they've become homeless through like maybe a fire and they lost all their stuff and they don't have family. I've heard of the stories, and I've seen some of the things that have happened. Like the other day, I was gonna clean up the park, and this homeless guy, I thought he was joking, but I don't think he was joking. He said, "Hey, don't throw away my drugs and my alcohol." And I was like, "Okay, don't worry about it." I thought he was joking. And I was not paying attention because I didn't want to be rude and I didn't want to look at people, like stare at them and gawk at them. But what happened was my coworker saw this guy go over and snort a line and chase it with vodka. And I did not see it because I was trying to be polite and not disrespectful and just mind my own business, basically. Ooh, sorry. I was just trying to mind my own business, but the guy was like, he was like, my coworker was like, "Oh, this really happened," and he's like, "We do not get paid enough to do this." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Did you not see what he just did?" I'm like, "No, I didn't see anything." And he told me that guy did that. I was like, "Are you serious? You're really telling me he was actually serious that he didn't want us to throw his drugs and his alcohol, and he was like, yeah, he was serious. And I was like, okay. Because it's not, for me, it's not a normal thing to see people use drugs and alcohol. I know that they use it, but I personally haven't seen, like, I'll see like bottles. I'll literally look in a garbage can, and I will see. Today I saw like 60 aluminum bottles, with the caps for beer. I saw 60 of them in a trash can. Some of them were still filled up. And I've seen 30 packs. I've seen empty bottles, the little shooters. I've seen them everywhere. I've never actually seen anybody do it though. But, it's just crazy to me to think that I was that close to somebody who was doing drugs. I know I sound like dumb because maybe you guys in your lifetime you've seen people do it and it's like, oh, that's normal, or oh, that's not a big deal. To me, it's a big deal, because I've never ever even like legitimately seen like real drugs. And I know that's really naive of me to say that, but I guess I'll just say I've been protected. Some of you might say I've been living under a rock, but I've honestly avoided drugs for the most part of my life. I don't even think I've smoked before, and I've smoked marijuana, but it's just not even seriously, like just like, oh, you want to try some, basically. And that was really the extent of my use. And I'm just thankful it never got serious. But yeah, the serious stuff, I've never used the serious stuff. I've never even seen anybody use the serious stuff. I've never even been a part of the crowd that does that kind of stuff. So to me, that's actually mind blowing that the guy was, I just thought he was joking. I just thought the guy was joking because that's what you say. Like, oh yeah, please don't throw away my drugs, my alcohol. No, he was not joking though, and I can't believe how sometimes I feel like I'm so naive. But you know what? It's whatever. I'm just glad that the dude didn't like tweak out on us, and start like going crazy. We just wanted to clean up the area. But there's seriously a homelessness problem. There's a big drug problem. I don't even know how to begin to solve it. But in my town, they kind of cater to the homeless. There's social workers that come through and they'll say, hey, would you like a job? Or and at least this is what I've heard from my coworkers who have been here longer than me, that have literally had to like call the cops on these people, or have had to like try to keep themselves alive, in the sense like if it, like one of the scenarios, I'll just tell you, one of the scenarios, one of the homeless guys pulls a knife on one of my coworkers, and my coworker is like, you better use that knife, because if you don't, I'm going to turn it on you. And I'm just, you know what? Like, I've been sheltered. I guess I've been sheltered all my life. What can I say? And like, not even that long ago. I guess this is a bigger problem than I realized. But not that long ago, one of my other coworkers, he was at the park where the homeless people like to hang. And actually, if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and subscribe first off. And if you like it, go ahead and like it. But yeah, let me finish the story. Homeless, this is what they told me, and this is all police report and everything too. So, but police report and everything too. So, but I was told that basically he turned onto the coworker, and the coworker called the knife as he was backing up, called in the knife to the police as he was backing up, and like 6 police cars just pulled up out of nowhere. And as soon as he called the cops, the guy walked off, but he didn't get very far. Off, but he didn't get very far. Know, know. Anyways, that guy, he got sentenced to. Yeah, got cut off. Sorry, I'm going to got cut off. Sorry, I'm going to the woods, so it's kind of hard to see. Into the clearing real quick, but basically, it's a death sentence for him to be sentenced. They're gonna find out who he is, what he's done, and what he's about. And as soon as they find out, But yeah, that's just like the things that I deal with every day, and I'm thankful that I never had to deal with like the homeless. Like I've always tried to be respectful and kind and just not be mean or rude or disrespectful. But some of my coworkers, they're just like, I could care less. They better get out of here. I'll call the cops. I'll throw their stuff away. I don't care who they are. I mean, like, not in not way. Like they're not really mean, but like if they left their stuff and they're gone. Like one time, a homeless guy, whew, cutting through that is nonsense. All right, one time a homeless guy left his stuff there and left a note saying, "Hey, I'll be back. Please don't throw my stuff away." Proceeds to throw all this stuff away. To me, that's really rude. That's disrespectful. Like I understand if they left it and they didn't even write anything on there, like, "Hey, please don't throw my stuff away." Like, I guess I understand if they didn't do that, if they didn't leave a note, but they left a note. Please don't throw my stuff away. And he proceeds to throw it away, and I'm just like, that's so rude, man. I mean, that you get the hate that you for doing that, you know. And I don't blame a homeless guy for if a homeless guy was mad at him. I don't blame him because that's rude. That's just disrespectful, you know. Anywho, I'm about to get cut off, so if you want to keep up with this, go ahead and subscribe and like because I'm driving through the woods and it's gonna break off. So I don't know if I'll lose you guys again because I did lose you guys earlier. So. What else? But like, there's so many. See, look, I just disconnected again. Anyways, I assume these stories have been. They told me the stories, and I assume that they're like years out because they've been there longer than me. So every time they tell me a story, I assume, for the most part, unless they say, "Oh yeah, did you hear what happened to him?" But I assume for the most part, it happened years ago. But like one guy told me a story like, "Hey, yeah, I had to call the cops on this girl. She was just straight up berating me. She was cussing at me. She was being rude and disrespectful, and I had to call the cops on her." And I was like, "Oh, really? When did that happen?" And he was like, "Oh, last week." And I'm like, "What? That happened last week? No, you didn't say anything to me." Sorry, going through a tunnel. All right, we're out from the tunnel. Hopefully, we didn't lose you guys. Anywho, yeah, like I don't know. I guess a lot of these interactions happen more often than I know. But I'm just flabbergasted, like mind blown that this is a normal occasion, you know. And I don't know how to. Basically, the point of this is how does somebody even solve this homelessness problem? How do we get these people off the streets? Not that I don't want them to be able to be on the streets, but like they're obviously in need of help. They've got drug problems. They've got family problems. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I just know there's a big problem, you know. And before I came onto the job, I always had a very topical view and knowledge of homelessness. You know, you see somebody on the side of the road with a sign, they're like, "Please help, anything helps," you know, need food. And I'm like, "Oh, they're homeless. I could totally help them." And I always always felt sorry for them. But now that I'm working closer with them, I'm like, I don't know if I want to help them anymore, honestly, because they tear up the area they stay in. They throw trash everywhere. They poop. They pee. They do drugs. I mean, one time I had a drug dealer. I knew he was a drug dealer because he sketched out as soon as we pulled up. I tell you, don't listen to me though. I told you to subscribe. Anyways, one other story. Oh yeah, we pulled up on the park, and there's this dude. The first thing we notice is there's a car that's parked there, and we're just like, why is there a car parked here? Like basically, there's only like homeless people here, and we pull up, and the guy looks at us, and we look at him, and he just turns around because he's like his back is facing to us, and he's like he looks at us, and we look at him, and he starts walking off, and like, "Oh, how you guys doing?" And then he just walks off, goes to his car, and sits down. Doesn't leave, doesn't do anything, just sits in his car. And I look at my coworker. I was like, "Do you think he's a drug dealer?" And he's like, "Yeah, he is, because he's a black dude. He's got dreads. He's got a nice car. He's got nice clothes, and he's talking and hanging out with this dude that looks like he's been tweaking out for like 2 or 3 days." And I'm like, "Yeah, that is totally a druggie. There, like he totally he sketched out basically. Like he did not play it cool. Like if we were police officers, we've been like, hey, you need to stop. You need to stay right here." The dude could not keep it together. Oh my days, what are we doing here? Okay, there we go. But anyways, I mean, like, there's such a big problem where I live, and I know I'm not the only. This is not the only town, not the only city that's dealing with this stuff. Anyways, yeah. What are your areas like? Do you guys see a lot of homelessness? Do you guys see a lot of drug use or drug users? And is have you guys seen anything that has helped in the sense of dealing with the homelessness or the drug use, or just basically people walking around that look like they're homeless? Like, have you guys ever found a solution? Because I mean, I'd love to be able to solve this. I'll be right back. I gotta grab the mail. Sorry. Whew. Fancy. Oof. All right. Anywho, yeah, I used to talk to my coworker about this, and he says that when he started working, the homelessness number when the city tracked the number, it was like maybe like 60 or 70, under 100 basically, and now it has blown up. Basically, it's blown up to like 400 homeless in this town that I live in, and he told me that people are shipping their homeless to this town, and it sounds unbelievable that somebody would do that. But I mean, parks that used to be really popular are no longer popular anymore. People are avoiding parks now just because of all the weirdos. I mean, you can't take your kids out there anymore. I mean, you don't even know if you're gonna get assaulted. I mean, you just don't know what's gonna happen anymore. Anyways, I'm driving through the trees again, so you better subscribe if you want to be stuck to this. But anyways, there's so many stories, and I've only been at this job for like a few months, and there are so many stories of all the crazy, crazy things. I mean, like, that's not even half of the stories that I remember. Like, and if I could remember every story that they've ever told me, it would probably blow your mind, because the police also have their hands tied in this situation, because you know what, you have to go up to the city, and you have to ask the city to do something about the homelessness. But the problem is, it's not only the city, it's also the prosecutors, it's also the police chief, it's also the judge. Like, it's a big, big problem, and not everybody's on board. Basically, not everybody's on board with trying to. Yikes! That's a big bump. Not everybody is on board with trying to deal with the homelessness problem. And you got maybe one group that says, like, we need to deal with this, and then you got another group that says, we don't want to deal with this, and then it's just a nightmare. And I don't know what to do, but I just imagine that with the coming election, it'll probably blow the situation out of proportion, basically. So I don't know. Maybe there'll be like 1,000 homeless in this tiny little town. So I don't know. But anyways, I'm at the house now. I appreciate everybody listening. I know it's just basically me telling a bunch of crazy stories that I've heard that sound almost unbelievable. But I tell you, I can't even believe it myself. It just sometimes blows my mind. But anyways, I'm gonna head out. Thank you for listening. I know it's short. I do live streams like every morning after my workouts or during my workouts. So if you want to stay up to date, keep yourself subscribed, go ahead and like and everything. Thank you for your time, and have a good day. God bless.